So when last we left off, you had made camp underneath the tree on the Merrick Plains on your way to the North Spire. Uh, Respec, you had taken last watch as the sun comes up on the horizon. The rest of you are in your makeshift shelter built up from the ground through the magics of Mr. Body with the glowstones keeping you warm throughout the night. Um, you should be seeing something pop up either on your page or in your journals here.
Hey, actually, real quick, how long has it been since I absorbed osmosis? Trying to keep track of that 12-hour limit.
Don't worry about that right now.
Fair enough.
Did I miss a session?
No.
I was gonna say that didn't sound familiar to me either.
Yeah, I think we all missed the session.
Did y'all see anything pop up or anything on your pages?
Yeah.
I did in the journal.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and take a look at that for a few minutes here.
Okay. You might want to open it on your end and then click show to players. That way it pops up to everybody and we can close whichever.
Well,
that makes it viewable to everybody. Never mind.
Yeah, I want to keep them to each of y'all.
Okay.
Let me know once y'all all kind of looked over everything.
Sorry, I got a little distracted. What exactly are we supposed to be looking over?
Did you see another character sheet show up in your journal?
Okay, is that this Polymer unlocked construct?
Probably.
Oh, okay. That's what I was reading.
Yeah, it's under handouts.
Okay, I saw that for a second, but didn't click it because I was like, who did this?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, yeah, I skimmed it, but I'm gonna keep this pulled up.
Yeah, same.
I take it that's our character sheet for this session.
Yes.
Okay.
The stats are different.
They are. The stats and moves are all different.
So if you haven't looked at that, you might want to.
Basic morality of your characters are the same, but otherwise you can kind of make up whatever you want within the backstory type of template you got going on. Go ahead and roll assess the situation, respec as you stand guard. Alright, so as you're looking out, as the sun slowly rises and light comes creeping across the plains, you do see some movement off in the distance, very small, very slight, heading in the general direction of where you have made camp. Every now and then, though it is predominantly flat land, there are the occasional trees around, and you did make camp around one of those trees to be less obvious in the camp making over the course of the night in case anybody should approach. You can't see what's causing the movement. It kind of seems to be down in some of the grass, but it is coming your way.
How common is movement out here?
You haven't really noticed anything else. That you've seen a few small critters come by over the course of your watch, but nothing this large.
Okay, I don't think I'd wake anybody up yet, but I'll definitely get myself positioned and ready just to wake people up if needed.
Okay. You see, as you ready yourself, the movement gets closer and closer and kind of pauses, and you see a little, looks like might be a head, kind of pop up a little bit, and then like go down real quick as soon as it kind of sees you're watching. That
is it kind of broad or is it narrow? The head.
It's kind of small. It is humanoid. Can't too far out, and still not quite light enough to make out the exact features, but it is small. Could be either a small creature or even a child of some sort, if a human or human sized.
Okay. How much sleep has everybody else gotten, or is anybody unhealthy?
No, everybody's fully restored, and they've been sleeping. They've taken their shifts. That they've had a full night's rest otherwise, and so have you as well. Up to this last shift.
Yeah, I will slowly go around waking people up. I don't want to startle whatever it is. So I'm not going to make any quick movements unless it acts.
Okay. The others are in like a impromptu shelter that Mr. Body grew out of the ground. So do you go inside, or just kind of from the doorway and keep an eye on it still, or?
Probably just to the doorway, keep an eye on it, see if I can reach in and just like tap somebody's foot.
Okay. Yeah, the closest one to the door is Syphon, and you kind of nudge her a little bit, awake. So Syphon, as you're sleeping there, you get kind of nudged and wake up to Respec on the outside there, nudging you through the doorway.
We have eyes.
Outside?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if they're friendly or not.
I kind of get up and go peer outside.
Okay, so you get up, you walk out, and looking where Respec motions, you kind of see grass shifting slightly, but it seems to have stopped approaching as it knows it's being watched now.
I'm still psychic. Could I probe for intelligence or anything like that?
Yeah, go ahead and roll Unleash for that.
Okay. Because that power always goes well.
Or you can roll the surface skimming ability. I'm sorry, that's the wrong person.
Yeah, I was about to say, I've got Psychic Release, which is basically the same role. I think they're both. No, one's freak and one's danger.
Yeah, and Psychic Release is more of a combat-oriented.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, go ahead and roll Unleashed. Oh, you already did.
Yeah, I already did.
Okay. You can tell it is...
Although it does let me link minds with... One of the choices on there is link minds with an NPC and gain +1 to pierce the mass against. So.
Okay, well yeah, if you want to roll that instead, that's cool.
Okay, do you want me to re-roll or just...
Yeah, reroll.
Use the difference? Okay.
It's two different stats.
Yeah.
Okay, so choose two.
Yeah, I'll link minds. And I'll create a mind fog, I guess. So anybody that directly engages that NPC will get +1 to the roll.
Alright. So, yeah, as you link the minds with it, you can tell it is sentient. That gives you a +1 to pierce the mask, so if you want to kind of do that and get some questions or anything, you can roll pierce the mask as well. With a +1 to it.
Yeah, so I can, what do you intend to do?
You get a frantic thought pattern. It's young. It does appear to be human, and is scared, and the intentions are simply to try to find help and shelter from what's chasing it.
Okay, Respec will turn to Syphon. It's scared. I think it just needs help.
Should we go out there?
Probably one of us. The other might want to work on waking everybody up.
Okay, I'll wake everyone up.
Okay, then I'll go out there. I'll try to scream if anything goes wrong.
I'll be listening.
Okay. Yeah, so she'll go out there slowly.
Okay. So as you start heading out that way, Syphon, you wake up Mr. Body and Polymer. Y'all are both roused by Syphon there.
Guys, wake up.
What's going on?
There's somebody outside. We don't know what they want yet. Exactly.
Where's Respec?
Outside, trying to talk to it.
I go back to sleep.
Okay, Polymer, you get woken up, you do anything or say anything, or...
Figure don't say anything, but sorry, I was also just kind of looking over the new movesets. I will, if I can get close, use Soothe so I can try and calm them down some, and see if we can actually communicate, I guess.
Okay. So you say once it gets closer?
Yeah, well, I was gonna try and kind of calmly walk over to, like shush, level 1, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, it's still a ways off. Respec is slowly approaching it, so you'd have to head out that way. So, Respec, as you start getting closer, you see the head pop up again, and as you got closer now, you can tell it is human. In fact, like the thoughts made you assume. And it does look like it has tears kind of welling up and kind of running down his face, but as it silently cries and just looks terrified, this little boy.
Hey, we're not going to hurt you.
And on his face, as you get closer still, you notice like a searing brand mark around his eye.
Do you recognize it?
You don't recognize it.
Okay.
But it does look like a slave mark of some kind, but you're not sure of where it would have come from, or who would have branded it.
Yeah, how common is slavery where we're at?
It's not all that common. There are a couple nations that make use of it. One, it's mostly war prisoners. The other one, they're typically isolationists, so you don't see anybody outside of that nation normally.
Okay. I doubt it's a war prisoner. Oh, sweet. Wow. Okay, well, are you hungry?
Just kind of tentatively nods very slightly.
Okay, we have food.
Okay. And he kind of starts walking a little closer, heading towards you.
Okay, I'm just going to go in the tent and get some food, okay?
Okay.
I'll be right back. I have friends in there too, so they might come out also. I don't know.
And as you say that, that's when Polymer happened to be coming out and walking over towards as well. Polymer, you see the scared little boy as he approaches and kind of comes out of the higher grass into the clearing around closer to the tree where y'all made camp. And as you see the brand on it, you do recognize it, though, as being one of the slave marks from Necron. And though you haven't probably revealed it to anyone, you have a similar mark somewhere on your back.
Awesome. Okay. Let me see. Since I just walked up, I will first use surface skimming, kind of get a feel for how long the kid's been out. Why are you crying, little one? That sort of thing.
Okay.
And then while we're waiting for the others, this I guess might need to be a separate role. But while we're waiting for the rest of them to come back, then switch over and start using Soothe.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and roll the surface skimming. Alright, so you get to ask 3.
I will go. What is your character thinking about? Who are you protecting? And what's your secret pain?
All right. Their hidden pain is effectively really just the amount of physical torment they've suffered that they aren't talking about, and you can't actually see it, the markings underneath the clothes from the wounds from the master. Um, they're just trying to keep themselves protected as they've managed to escape. And what they're thinking about are the hounds chasing after them. And you know the hounds are actually agents of Necron, that the few people that manage to escape the nation, that go out after them, hunting them down to bring them back. You kind of figure you might have a few on your own tail as well.
Hooray for that. Okay, then yeah, while we wait on the others, I'll switch over into Sue's and just kind of hold the kid close. You know, shush, it's okay. We'll protect you, don't worry.
Okay, go ahead and roll that.
Well, damn.
Alright, so as you kind of reach into its mind to try to alter its memories, you just seeing the mark and knowing that it's also kind of in a similar situation to you just kind of actually overwhelms you, and you suddenly see flashes of their memory of them stretched out across a rack, being whipped for not following orders as well as they were told, even though they were doing their best. They're little kids, so they can't lift as much as other people or carry as much or work as hard. But it doesn't matter. They didn't, and so they got punished for it. And the feeling of this is just so intense. Go ahead and mark a condition if you're choosing.
I will go afraid for that then.
Okay. And yeah, it doesn't sue them at all, of course. So what everybody else, what y'all doing, Mr. Body? You're still sleeping?
Yeah, still sleeping.
Okay. Syphon, Respec went back in to get food. Polymer went out to try to console the child. What were you doing? Syphon?
Sorry, I thought you said we went in to get food.
No, Respec went in to get food, and Polymer went out to console the child. And just kind of what were you doing while this is all going on?
Just watching.
Okay. Respec, so yeah, you're able to find some rations pretty quickly out of one of the bags.
Now, if there's any preparation at all, go ahead and fix something up. Come out. Sorry, it's nothing fancy, but
He just kind of looks up and grabs it and starts eating it really quickly, and still trying to hold back tears.
oh, you'll get a bellyache.
He kind of slows down a little bit, and they're behind me somewhere. I don't know where.
It's okay. You're safe here. Right? She's looking around at the others.
No, of course you're safe.
Semi-ignoring that, how far away are they, child? How far behind?
I don't know. And almost as if they heard it, though, on the horizon now you can see shapes taking form, heading in the general direction towards y'all, but not necessarily directly at you, but heading that way. It looks like mostly humanoid figures, although there is a large, almost wagon-like device moving with them.
I'm gonna go wake up Mr. Body.
Alright, so you run inside and start nudging Mr. Body awake again.
Yep. Come on, Sleeping Beauty. It's time.
I say, oh, Respec, you know you're the beautiful one here.
I know.
as I rub my eyes, yawn, stretch. What's going on?
There's wagons coming. The child that's outside is hunted.
Child?
Yeah, what kind of monsters hunt children?
I don't know, but it sounds like it's none of our concern.
None of our concern. It's a child.
Will this child get us closer to the spire?
Yes, the child will get us closer to the spire. Is there a light roll?
I mean, you can basically be a provoke, basically.
Okay.
My
That's going to go well.
My question was rhetorical, so I don't think it's going to work.
Probably not.
Okay, so you're basically trying to get them to, if not care, at least act in behalf of the child, protecting the child.
Yeah,
And
at least start moving.
yeah, so on a 10, basically, Mr. Body, you have a choice. You can either do it and add 1 to the team pool, or you can refuse and mark a condition.
I'll do it, but reluctantly.
Yeah, because what I just did is kind of a dick move, but it's a kid.
Okay. Yeah, and outside Syphon and Respec, you see the forces heading in y'all's general direction as well. As they get slowly closer, Polymer, you do notice, or you do recognize the wagon as a mobile slave cage, basically.
Can I see any people in it from here, or does it look empty?
There's a number of like humanoid figures, 2 driving it, and then a number of other ones around it, but you can't tell if there's anything inside the cage or not.
I'd like to use well learned.
Okay.
I'm assuming I've seen the kid now and his branding.
Yeah.
So I'd like to use well learned and see if I can tell what the brand is.
Alright, go ahead and roll.
And I don't say anything to the kid. I just like grab him by the shoulders and look at him and like, in the face.
Yeah, he's just kind of very timidly looking back at you, still eating very slowly. Okay, so you do recognize the branding as being one from the nation of Necron. Isolation is heavy in necromantic magics. The majority of their nation is actually inside of a hollowed-out mountain. The mountain used to be surrounded by verdant land, but all their dark magics kind of corrupted it and turned it into this swampy marshland around it that very few things actually live in. The brand itself, you recognize it as being from one of the noble houses from inside. House Maru. And it's very, very rare for anyone to escape if they're enslaved there. So it's very odd that somehow a child did.
Guys, this child is a danger to us. This is a slave from Necron.
Look, I don't care how shiny they are. You don't take children.
I'm still looking at the kid, not so much at him, but I just firmly say the child comes with us.
No, we can't just leave him here.
As you wish.
Okay, so as the forces approach, what do y'all do? Do you prepare? Do you flee? What do y'all do in response?
Yeah, how long would it take to pack up the camp? Because if not, we better find a defensive spot somewhere nearby or a hiding spot.
Well, the camp itself, I mean, you have your packs that you're traveling with, and beyond that, it's pick up the glowstones, and you're pretty much good to go. The shelter itself, like I said, it was just grown out of the ground, so that's nothing to pack up there.
How quickly are the wagons moving?
You figure you've probably got, at the speed they're currently going and the distance they're at, anywhere between probably close to 10 minutes before they are actually like within melee distance.
Do they see us?
You can't tell. They're just kind of in a search pattern heading out. They're kind of scattered apart, but it will take them directly, or at least some of them, directly through your camp there. So they will see you eventually if they don't now.
Okay, so I would like to take measures to make it look like we weren't here. So can I, like, not just like disassemble, but also make it look like we didn't use, we didn't have a shelter here or anything like that?
Yeah, go ahead and roll Unleash. Okay, yeah, it's pretty simple to, once you get everything out of the little shelter, to have it retract back into the ground and the grass grow over it again as if nothing had ever risen up. Other than where y'all are currently standing and the tracks from that, it otherwise looks like it's been untouched.
Should one of us split off and create a false trail and we meet up somewhere?
I could try just creating one,
Okay.
like a part in the grass or something. And then try to also maybe erase our trail.
And as they slowly get closer, Mr. Body, you do feel like a void in the life web around some of them, signifying that they are likely some sort of undead. Syphon, you don't feel that, but you feel almost like a kindredness from them as death permeates them as they walk. Not that you are friends with them, but you can, sense death and are at one with that energy.
Guys, I think we have a problem.
Alright, I'm gonna, like, extend my hand out in a direction not opposite, but not a direction where we're going, and, like, part the grass, make it look like that's the way we went.
Okay, yeah, that would be Unleash again. Yeah, simple enough. The grass starts shifting to your will as the calculations burn through your mind for what you're trying to do, and the life web responds accordingly. And a false trail begins being created in the opposite direction of where y'all intend to head.
We should move out.
Agreed.
Does anybody have, like, a hiding or a stealthy type ability?
I don't know. The closest I can think of on what I have is assess the situation just to try to find like the right path or whatever, but it's not right either.
I can probably attempt to make the path look like we weren't using.
Yeah, like change it behind us as we go.
Yeah. I can try.
If you can do that, that might let us move a little faster than they're moving.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll it again. Okay, so in the haste to head out, y'all all start making your way further through the plains, opposite from the fake path. Then you create the effects to restore the area around you from behind you. It's not perfect, but it's not a blatantly obvious, hey, we went this way either.
Like maybe with the obvious path and not so obvious path, they'll pick the obvious path.
Right. Okay, so as y'all make your way that way, I just want to kind of take a step back now a little bit, and all of your reasons for heading where y'all are heading are your own. Obviously, two of you know each other's reasons, but whether or not you've all informed each other of why y'all are all heading that way is entirely up to you. So how much y'all all met within the last few days, helping each other out against some bandits that had kind of beset y'all, and realizing y'all at the very least y'all were heading in the same general direction. That's why y'all have been traveling together now. But how much you all know of each other is entirely up to you based on how you feel like playing it out.
So I just said to Respec, will it get us closer to the spire? So at least that's the thing that, I'm doubting that's the first time I've said it.
Right. Yeah, and the one thing y'all do all know is you're all heading towards the spire, but if the reasons why are entirely up to whether or not you share it or not is up to you.
Gotcha.
Probably not. I imagine that Respec at this point tries to put up that I'm a badass face, but I think that facade just kind of cracked a little bit as a child was in danger.
Are patchwork people like me all that common around here? Like, if I said, hey, I'm made out of a bunch of people, would they be like, what?
No, it's not. And you are very much living. It's a strange, atypical life energy, and so you do give off that kind of something a little off to Mr. Body and to Syphon. But it's not like a undead type of thing. It's not like a straight up, hey, this thing is unnatural. It's just a little different from normal.
Okay, then yeah, aside from anything that they might have picked up like that, I figure I'm probably not really telling people. Just kind of trying to do the whole I'm traveling here, my reasons are my own sort of thing.
Yeah, and as y'all are flaying, Nance had also kind of come to and just quietly gathered her things and yours, Syphon, and followed behind.
Oh, Nancy's there?
Her name's Nancina now.
Oh, I'm not thinking Nancy. I'm thinking Lucy. Sorry. Sorry, I got the names backwards.
Yeah, Nancina is Syphon's squire.
Well, yeah, as long as we've got everyone's favorite NPC, how about we just go?
Yeah, so you'll start heading off. As you kind of glance back, it doesn't seem like the search party has changed speed or changed directions or anything, so they seem to be on the same path they were. Is anybody carrying the kid, or just letting him run with y'all, or move with y'all, or how fast y'all going, that sort of thing?
I figure I probably, if he's cooperative, I'd pick him up onto a piggyback ride.
Okay. Yeah, still kind of tentatively, but y'all haven't tried to hurt him, and y'all fed him and everything, and so he trusts you enough to get on, and as y'all make your way. So the sun continues to rise, and you get a pretty good ways off, nearing the after a few hours travel, and you've kind of lost sight of the search party. And you are still going in the direction of the general direction of the spire. You figure it's at least another day and a half's worth of travel before you get to the actual region. And then once you're within the valley area of where the spire is, it'd be probably another half day to a day to the spire itself.
Question.
Yes.
I probably should have asked this earlier. Are we still teenagers?
You're all pretty young, but teenagers here are a little bit different from teenagers in the real world. I think you're all roughly the same ages as you were.
Okay, I'm just kind of trying to gauge where mentally we might be.
So do y'all keep moving with the same sense of urgency or anything once they stop, once you've lost sight of them for a while, or?
I suggest we keep moving, but at a pace that's easy to maintain. But I'm not the group leader.
I mean, same thing. How about we keep moving at least till we put them over the horizon from us? Just make sure that they're well behind us.
Yeah, I don't see a reason to stop because we're trying to get to the spire. We just had a good night's rest.
Okay.
Do we have some dried rations or anything that we can eat while we walk?
Yeah, you all have rations in your bags. You've got a couple days worth left at least. A lot of it's just kind of effectively jerky and the like.
So what's your name? Do you have one?
No. Boy. Hey, you. Scum.
Hmm.
You give them a name, you're going to get attached, Respec.
I'm not going to get attached. But we have to call him something. Any suggestions?
They call me Scum a lot. You can just call me that.
No. Do you know what scum is?
He shakes his head. No.
Well, it's not you.
Okay. Then off to the side, listening in, Nance's lip is just quivering, like she just wants to cry over this.
Well, you have a Mark. Let's call you Mark for now.
Okay, I guess, yeah, okay.
Maybe we could find something to cover that up later. We can worry about that later.
That's actually a good idea.
I mean, if we come across civilization, probably not the best idea to have that running around, showing everybody. Gonna dig around in my bags for a scarf or a strip of cloth or something that we can use to kind of just use as like a hood or a face cover.
Okay, yeah, you find something that you kind of rip a piece off and wrap it around.
Yeah, it won't hide it. I mean, it won't cover it up really, but it might put it in shadows.
Okay. As you kind of approach with it, it tenses up as you bring it down closer to his face.
So okay. We're just going to cover your head.
Kind of,
You'll be able to see and hear and talk.
kind of nods and just tenses as you do it. Still, but he lets you.
Can I go ahead and kind of, I guess, subtly use my soothe and try and calm him while the mask is, or the cover is being put on?
Yeah, you can try. Oh, and if y'all get fails, I left your potentials all the same, so still keep track of that if you miss anything.
Okay, so yeah, so like again, not saying anything, but I'll just sort of, I guess, give his mind a gentle nudge in the don't worry direction.
Okay, so yeah, as you reach in again and you kind of move some of the more fearful images to the back of his mind, and you clear him of afraid.
Does that clear me? I keep forgetting how we clear ours.
For y'all, it has a different. Each thing has a different way to do it on the move list. Soothe is specifically to clear conditions from other people.
Yeah, in the handouts they have basic moves, and I think it's on the 2 of 2.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I found it.
If you don't have the PDF.
But I think I cleared all of y'all's conditions for this. So if you had any marked,
Right,
unmark
but
them.
he just grabbed afraid.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
Run from something difficult.
Yeah, I'd say y'all did that. So yeah, you can clear that.
So hooray, not afraid anymore, I guess. Sweet.
We didn't run. It was a tactical withdrawal to protect the innocent.
If it clears the condition, I'll call it cowardice.
And so yeah, you get that around his face a little bit, and he notably kind of calms down and relaxes as y'all don't know exactly why, but as Polymer kind of fuddled with his memories a bit to move them out of his mind for the time being. So you keep on your way, and eventually in the distance you see like a small village, fairly far off, but you can easily make it pretty quick here if y'all decide to head that way. Looks like a farming village.
If you all want to go, I might stay behind with the child and meet you on the other side of it, go around. If they're hunting him, we probably don't want him to be seen as little as possible.
I'm staying with the boy, for sure.
I don't know if anybody needs anything from the village.
If they're hunting him, we should just let him go.
I can't do that.
I just shake my head and walk towards the village.
Okay, if I have some money, I might give it to Mr. Body to, just in case he's picking up provisions or anything, just to kind of cover whatever my costs would be, mine and the boys.
Okay.
All right, Syphon, are you heading to the village, or are you staying with the others?
Yeah, I'll follow Mr. Bond.
Okay, so as y'all head to the village, Nance is following behind, staying about 5 paces behind you as per normal. She's actually overloaded, kind of carrying both your bag and Mr. Body's.
And I take my bag.
It's not a problem. It's fine, my lady.
Just gonna snatch it out of her hands.
Okay, yeah, just easily grab it. She kind of stumbles back a bit as you pulled it off, unbalanced now from the sudden loss of weight, but catches herself and just Thank you. Thank you. Okay, do y'all converse at all since y'all, do have the same ultimate mission and everything as y'all approach the village, or?
I guess I would like, before we go in the village, maybe I could use either well learned or assess the situation just to make sure that it's,
Yeah. Assess would probably be a better fit for this. All right. So you get 2 questions from the list.
What here is the greatest danger? Sorry, what here is the biggest threat?
Yeah. You can see people kind of milling about. It looks like their normal business throughout the day. Some people tending to fields. But as you kind of look closer and extend your senses a little bit, it feels like there's no crops growing, and it's not quite season, but the fields feel dead. Like just a completely lack of life to them, but they're still being tended as it. And you feel it is an unnatural lack of life emanating from underneath the earth. And so the source of that is the biggest danger.
As in, maybe this is a Necron thing?
Potentially. It feels different from the undead things, but it's definitely something out of place and not typical to this area that should have sustainable farmland.
All right. What here is in the greatest danger then?
The citizens of the village, you can kind of feel traces of whatever dark thing it is kind of in them, not as a possessing thing, but just like and become a natural part of their physiological systems, like they've been imbibing it and it's sickening them.
I extend my hand out, kind of like blocking Syphon from walking, and I stop immediately. And I say, there is horrible magic here. Or whatever. Would it be the life web?
Yeah.
The life web is very tainted. Something is, all the crops are dead, but they're still tending to the crops. They're still pulling crops, and the crops are apparently tainted, and the people are sick with the taint that's from the crops, from the life web force that's coming from the crops. And that's what I tell Syphon, by the way.
Should we still try to go or go back?
We definitely don't want any provisions from here.
Alright, let's head back.
But Sorry, I'm reading my my goals again.
Syphon, you also do have a passive move that may be useful here.
Oh. Ghost of the past?
Yeah. So if you wanted to, did you want to use that?
Yeah, not sure what to ask them though.
Okay. You just keep it in mind if something comes to mind for what to ask.
I wonder if this is involved with what happened to the spire.
Okay. It might be. Maybe I can ask the ghosts around here.
Yeah, maybe if it's killed people. If the whatever this force is that's painting the town, maybe it's killed people.
Okay. So do you want to go ahead and use the Ghost of the Past?
Yeah. Do they just like appear?
Yeah. Okay. As you start wanting to question the spirits that may be around, the mystical circuitry around your onyx eye starts kind of glowing faintly as you feel the energies wrap around your brain, and reality kind of shifts around you. And where there were once empty fields, you now see large crops growing, but they are translucent and faded as the ghosts of the dead crops are still in place as their energy slowly fades away from even the spirit realm. And you see a number of other farmers now working the fields that clearly are not alive as their spirits continue to do what they did in life.
So can I like walk up to one of them and get their attention?
Yeah, as you walk up to one and he kind of sees you coming and turns his head like kind of a double take and kind of waves warily as a strange traveler approaches.
What does this look like to me?
You just see her approaching the empty field.
Okay, so there's no one else in the field.
There's like on the far end, there's another farmer working who's very much alive, but she's like at the distant end, away from them. So they might see her approaching their field, but she's not like directly approaching the living farmer. And this isn't anything new to you. You know what she does and what she sees and things like that, having worked together before.
Yeah, I just want to make sure she's not like just walking around talking to people that aren't there while there's like actual living farmers,
Yeah.
right next to her.
So I just kind of like nod back at the farmer spirit who waved to me. So I don't want to be too obvious or weird for the living farmers that are around.
And he kind of digs in a little bit more into the ground with his tool and picks it up and just starts walking up to you. And can I can I help you?
Hi. You might be able to help me.
Well, I'd be glad to. Don't get too many people here that willing to talk to me.
Sorry, I'm still reading this sheet. Do you know anything about this fire that went out?
Well, I did hear that much of the land around it is dying as the light faded a while back, and ever since then, many of us have quickly been growing sick. Is the same night that the lights went out on the spire, the sky was ablaze as a number of things fell from it. One of them landed in the well in the town, and nobody really seems to be aware of it, and I can't get their attention. None of us can. It's hard to get the living to listen to you. No, they don't realize they're being tainted by this, whatever this was. Yeah. It takes us quickly, the weakening.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting me know. I will go look at it.
I would appreciate it. We all would. We hate seeing our friends and family suffering the same fate as we did.
I'll do my best. And then I give him like another nod and I walk back to Mr. Body.
As you do, he goes back to tilling the ghost crops, and they all kind of fade away as your circuitry stops glowing, and you close off that realm for the time being.
Shit, maybe I should have asked him where this well was. Did he tell me where it was?
Yeah, he didn't, but I mean, it's a pretty small village, so it wouldn't be hard to find.
Okay. Then I tell Mr. Body what just happened.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we can find the well, and if we can't, we can say that we need to fill our, we need some water or something.
Yeah.
We should probably go back to the others.
Shouldn't we take care of this first?
Well, we might need some help.
Do you think they'd help us?
Oh yeah, that's right, I forget that we just met.
Well, if they were just pointing out there, if they were willing to help the boy who just randomly appeared in camp, they'd probably help a village.
Yeah, okay. We don't necessarily need to tell them that this is tied to the spire. Or possibly tied to the spire.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I'll turn around and head back to the group.
Yeah.
Okay. And,
As long as
sorry. No, go ahead. I kept accidentally talking over you.
Oh, I said as long as Syphon's okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so as y'all turn around to head back to the others, you do notice that the farmer who was working the other end of the field had kind of stopped to watch the two strangers, especially as one did approach his field, and then as y'all start walking away, he kind of goes back to work, but kind of keeping an eye on y'all as y'all leave, as you head back to the others. And Respec and Polymer, you see Mr. Body and Syphon turning around, but without having actually entered the village, heading back to you.
I tell them that there is something that is killing this village.
What could it be?
And I look at Syphon.
have a feeling there's something tainting the village and the well.
So you've located the taint.
Yes.
Good. How do we clear it out?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen it yet either.
Okay, and Respec will look down at Mark. Are you good at hiding?
He kind of nods quickly.
Okay, we're going to have you hide while we go into the village.
Okay. Okay.
And Respec will look around unless you all think it's wise to take him in there. If you want, he can go with us. I just don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, I guess I would probably think he would just get in the way, but you know.
Okay, if we're not back by tomorrow morning, run. Okay?
He kind of gets wide-eyed, but slowly nods.
Or if somebody finds you, you run.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, where are you going to hide so we can find you later?
He kind of looks around and kind of points at this old dilapidated like farmhouse, not like or barn rather, and it's got some piles of junk around it, and he just kind of points to the junk piles.
Okay. Be careful, don't get any scrapes or cuts, okay?
Okay.
Since I'm still holding the kid, I guess I'll walk over there with him, try to, as I set him down, kind of hold him close, try to use soothe one more time, just let him know, don't worry, we'll be right back.
Okay, go ahead and roll. Okay, so you reach in again, you kind of move some more memories aside, and kind of calms down even more and cleared hopeless from his conditions. Then he kind of moves some of the junk and kind of makes a little hole that he kind of crawls into and then covers himself back up with.
So with I am not my body, is that just my general?
Yeah, you can choose to use it or not, but yeah, it's automatic if you want to. There's nothing to roll or anything like that.
I can actually see a description now. Like as I just told you. It's like my descriptions are popping up. Like they weren't there when I originally looked at my sheet.
Oh, they probably had the check boxes marked, and I've been unchecking stuff because I kind of remind myself what all of this does too, sometimes.
Oh, that's you doing that, okay.
Okay, I was like, wow, it just popped up as I'm thinking about it.
Roll 20 updated with the new psychic feature.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Okay, so yeah, the boy's hidden now. So what do you all do?
I guess. Well, I look at everyone and I say, shall we go?
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, to the village, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just start walking.
Okay, so y'all head back to the village. The farmer whose field you had kind of been closest to sees you returning again, and he kind of drops his tool and runs into the village, or towards the village himself. Seems to be wary now of your intentions.
Can we just walk past him?
He's ahead of y'all. Yeah, you'd be walking past his stuff. I'm just letting you know looks like he's running in to like alert the village or something of strangers approaching.
I guess I tell everyone, just don't even just act normal. Just act like we are here for, to rest for the night. Fill up on provisions or whatever.
Right, we just need water from the well.
And where are we going? Because we can't say to the spire, I'm sure.
Do any of us know what's in the region of the spire other than the spire?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're going to that Bennigan's right there next to the spire. It's totally not the spire.
Yeah,
It's a stone cold creamery.
Is there like another large town beyond this town?
yeah. Give me a second.
Greenbow, Alabama.
Okay, so yeah, y'all are you do know that beyond and a little bit to the west of the spire is the nation of Lindholm, which is known for its floating cities and high magic. So you could potentially, use something related to that if asked.
Okay, yeah, we'll just discuss that real quick between ourselves so that our stories are consistent.
And they are known, like their primary export for being like different types of medicines and healing ointments, as well as the ore that allows for floating technology. Airships are fueled by this ore.
I'm sure they would be looking for work. I bet there's some sort of like educational, like an academic institution that's there. People looking for mercenaries, all kinds of stuff.
Go ahead and roll your well learned. Yeah, it's probably best to stick to less the mercenary type stuff and more the educational or research type intellectual pursuits for that region. Not to say that the other things don't happen there, but you don't hear about it a lot. So, like keeping it like more civil in that regard would be more believable.
It's like more upscale, but not maybe more peaceful.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I relay what I know about Lamore.
Lindholm.
Lindholm.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Are we just happening to travel together, or do we know each other?
So maybe we're from somewhere. Maybe we're all students. seeking a college. And I can't remember how to say it.
Lindholm?
Lindholm. Okay.
Lindholm. Okay. Maybe we need one person to do the talking. The rest of us work for you.
Who's got the best? I've got a 2 superior. But
I'm also 2.
I also have a high 3. I'm assuming I look kind of.
Oh, I've got a negative in freak.
I'm 3 freak, 2 superior.
Who's got the best mundane? I mean, probably want somebody that other people can relate to.
Mine's -1.
Yeah, I have a 0.
Mine's
I
a
have
2.
a 0.
Damn it.
Well, superior works too, but
Yeah,
In fact, I would say it's superior to mundane.
that's true.
I have a 1 for superior.
I have a 2. So I mean, and Polymer has a 2, right?
Yeah, I'm a 2. My label total was like 6 for this build for some reason.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I guess that's all of it.
If, you know what? You have all the fancy book learning, Mr. Body. Maybe we are working for you.
Okay, I'm just afraid of people like being turned off by my appearance.
It's okay. I understand that feeling. If
You're
it helps you feel any better, I'd like to look past all that.
Well, and you can. I just want to throw out there, like, you can, like, how you feel about yourself is one thing, but like society-wise, this is a land of non-human creatures and magic and stuff like that. So it's not as uncommon to see oddities as it would be in like Halcyon City.
Okay, so like maybe if I turn up the charm, you know, it won't be so bad.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Plus, just because we work for you doesn't make you likable.
yeah. Hey, we're traveling. We work with this asshole.
I just need to be believable.
Yeah. I mean, we could always have it to where one of us doesn't like you, and so we're more relatable to the common working man. Saying that probably excludes me.
So what's the so if there's a college there, what kind of college would they have?
I would predominantly be focused on arcane and magical pursuits.
Okay, so if I said the mage's college, they wouldn't be like, what the fuck is a mage?
No, not at all.
Okay. How
Now
well-
we just look over at Nancy. If Are you going to be able to pretend that you work for him and not her?
Well, she could still work for her.
Well, yeah, I suppose that works.
Maybe we should have just left her with a child.
That might be a good idea.
Could still tell her to go back.
Unless she's like, no, that's Medicaid. Never mind.
She attached at the hip. We've known each other a couple of days. We should have some.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely wants to do her job and be the best squire she can be to, in her mind, Lady Syphon. But since Syphon and Body both work for the same agency, she also feels some level of, I guess, loyalty and servitude towards Mr. Body as well. That's why, you know, she's carrying his bag and was carrying both of their bags. They didn't ask her to even; she just did it. But ultimately, she's going to follow the order she's given by Syphon.
Is there any kind of connection that she has to us that we could use remotely?
Being new to the group, I mean, like all of y'all together, whether or not Respec has formed the telepathic communications with everybody, trusting them enough to let them into each other's minds, type of thing, would be up to y'all. In which case, then she would. If not, then no.
I think if everybody's keeping secrets and hidden agendas from each other, I don't think people are going to want to set up a psychic network. It just doesn't seem like we have that trust there yet.
Yeah, probably under like the most direst of situations.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be like our other game where I'm constantly running it. I don't think, because you two, you know, my character doesn't know it, but the player knows you're keeping secrets, and so if you're keeping secrets, chances are you would not be okay with the psychic network going all the time.
Actually, side question: how would that even? Would it even work as well with someone like me?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a willing thing. If not, you'd basically have to compete for roles if you're trying to force a connection. But if it's a willingly done thing, then yeah, you'd still be part of it.
Okay. I mean, either way, like this personality was, I felt like I was probably gonna try and say no, but I just had that thought.
Okay. So do we agree that it'd be better for her to go back?
Yeah, it's probably good for someone to stay with the boy.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I'm mostly just concerned about the if she can help keep up the deception if she's following you.
Well, he has to keep up the deception too. I don't know. I think the best thing for them is to just stay hidden. But she's also, I don't know, a last line of defense.
It's a good idea.
I just feel like maybe she's more capable. Maybe she's more capable than him at staying hidden. And then also, you know, having someone there might make him feel safer.
okay. So I tell her to go back and to hide him and to make sure that they don't get caught.
And she nods. Yes, ma'am. I'll make sure of it. And turns around and heads back away from the village. And then, you know, she'll do as she's told.
Before she gets too far, I kind of want to grab her by the hand and just, like, once again whisper, "Keep him safe."
Yeah, when you grab her by the hand, she kind of gets like wide-eyed, like, and then just nods whenever you say keep him safe, and she pulls her hand away real hard and takes off.
Is this like a doesn't like me kind of thing, or like he can tell something was up?
No, it's just a don't touch me kind of thing.
Okay, great. The NPC hates me. Got it.
Good job, Polymer. We wouldn't have any kind of like flare gun type thing, would we?
Not really a flare gun type of thing, but you could most likely do some sort of signal with your magics of some way or another.
Bird noises?
No, I meant more for them. So if shit gets hairy for them.
Oh, I gotcha. She would have some of the glowstones in the bag, but
Yeah, they could light the barn on fire.
Or yeah, they could light something on fire. That'll work. Okay. But she ran off, so never mind. I think we're just kind of stuck with the situation.
Yeah, we can reach out and just kind of get an idea every so often
Okay.
how they're going.
Okay. All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
all right. So y'all start heading back into town again, and as you approach, you do see like kind of small clusters of people. There's not a figure the whole village together would only be maybe, if everybody came in from their properties even a little bit further out, 50 people total. So you see like 3 or 4 people kind of huddled together, like watching from the shadows, like aside from one building, and a couple more people somewhere else as y'all approach, just watching very carefully.
So did we notice the farmer like run from the farm?
Yeah, y'all saw him run off, like as if to alert people.
Okay, so I think we need to figure out a story of why you were in the field.
Inspecting the quality of the grain to see if we wanted to pick up any food on our way through. It's not like we're out of food yet. We're just thinking ahead.
Or maybe she was using the bathroom.
In an open field.
Standing up, fully clothed.
In their crops.
I mean, I feel like I didn't do anything too suspicious. I can just say I was looking at the crops.
Maybe you're like
Botanist?
yeah. Maybe you're a botanist.
Oh, a druid.
Okay.
Actually, I know like magic is pretty common. How common is specifically talking to dead people? Could we just say, oh yeah, she was talking to your grandpa?
Yeah, that's not super common outside of Necron. And Necron, most people don't go there because of obvious reasons.
And then also, but I didn't tell them that either. But that's what I did.
Right, yeah. Nancy and Body are the only ones who know that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you were just inspecting the crops to see if we wanted to pick up food here or wait till the next village.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
guess.
We'll see if they buy that.
That seems mundane.
It's as good an excuse as anything else, I think.
And we need water.
You need water.
Alright, so y'all head in then?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you start making your way back towards it again, past some of the fields, and they're still kind of farther off, a couple of people working in their own fields, and they don't seem to have noticed y'all. But the closer ones in the core village, as y'all head to it, like I said, you see some people kind of huddled together watching from shadow doorways and from the sides of buildings and whatnot. But one gentleman approaches, as you do, figure age-wise, he's probably late 40s, dusty, kind of tattered-worn clothes. Looks like he's probably had one outfit that he wears most of the time, and looks like he's probably a farmer based on the dirt and grime, but it's not the one who was in the field. Greetings. How can we help? We don't get a whole lot of travelers through here.
Hello, good sir. How's your day been?
Yeah, we've had better seasons, but the day itself's not been bad.
Excellent.
He's clearly like nervous, but seems like he's probably the equivalent of mayor for the little village.
We are just travelers passing through to Link home. We're seeking education at the Mages College and hopefully some work. But we've been traveling all day and all night, and we're really tired. So and thirsty. So we're trying to find a place to rest and also fill up our canteens.
Go ahead and roll comfort and support.
But that's a mundane.
Oh yeah, no, you're more like trying to provoke. Yeah, so go ahead and roll provoke.
I'm trying to provoke trust.
Right. Okay, he's still a little pensive, but oh, that's a noble pursuit you got there. Yeah, no, we got water we can spare. Don't have a whole lot of rations, but you know we have some we might be able to part with if you need them. Because it's not been a good season, but let me show you to the well. Fill up your canteens. Some of the other people who are kind of watching around, kind of chattering amongst themselves, whispering, and like just this is the most interesting thing that's happened in a while here. Then he kind of walks y'all through past some of the other smaller buildings and out behind one of the larger ones. You see a pretty decent sized well upright. Has a bucket attached to it to go down and get water. Now we got plenty of that. I've had plenty of rain. Makes the weird for the season to not be so good, but you take what you need. We're fine there. He just kind of backs off a little bit and leaves you to it, but still within the area watching.
Okay, so I'm assuming I emptied my canteen beforehand.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey. So yeah, I'll just I guess lower the bucket, pull out some water, and then look at the water.
Okay. Yeah, so as you pull up the bucket and you kind of look carefully at the water, you do notice a slight greasy sheen on it. It's very, very slight, though, so unless you're like looking for something, it's easy to possibly miss.
Okay. I'll fill up my canteen, and then motion the rest of the group and say, come friends, come fill your canteens. I know you must be thirsty.
Yeah, come forward, fill the canteen.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can't specify, but I really wanted. I kind of like look at Syphon, just kind of.
The whole eyeball thing, like eyeball to her, eyeball to the water, eyeball to her.
Yeah.
Can I use Ghost of the Past again? See if there's anyone near here.
Yeah, so as everything kind of shifts again, and you've got a number of spirits that kind of appear, a few of them specifically around the well watching, and before you can even say anything, one of them's just, I wouldn't drink that.
There's no one in the real world who's too close to us, right?
You're being watched by, I'm just going to call him the mayor for simplicity's sake, and a few other people, but they're not directly next to you or anything. If you could change your position to where they wouldn't be able to see you talking to nobody.
Yeah, and if I just like keep my voice down. So I like keep my voice down and like walk up to the well next to these ghosts and say, "Why do you say that?"
Don't know what's in there, but it's pretty sure that's what killed all of us. Yeah, drinking the water and eating the crops before they all withered and died. And something is tainting the land here. And sometimes at night, we see a glow coming from the well that chills us.
From the bottom?
We don't get too close. We just when the light starts, we try to stay away. The closer we get, the worse we feel. And that's odd for you to hear a spirit say that they like feel bad like that, like a physical type of feeling almost for a spirit.
Hmm. Do you know anybody who might know what's going on in the well?
He kind of shakes his head. We've tried to tell them, warn them. We don't want to see our families die, but none of them can hear us. Doesn't seem like none of us really knew of anything that happened to it. Everything started on the night of the sky fire.
When was that?
It gives a general time frame, but it lines up with when the reports of the spire going out.
And I just say thanks and then come back into the real world.
Okay. Yeah, it all fades away and everything's back to normal. And
There's something.
I was gonna say, and you know from your reports from the Ouroboros Society, you know that they were tracking something they believe impacted with the spire from the heavens. So whatever hit that, it may have been something that splintered off from it, or from the whatever affected the spire itself directly. You're not sure which one.
So then I just kind of relay what happened to everyone else. But just say it's a feeling.
Yeah, maybe you guys should pretend like you fill your canteens, but don't, so that we actually have some good drinkable water.
Okay, I can do that.
All right, yeah.
How much water do we need? For testing.
My canteen is filled, so I think that's probably good. Unless anybody has like extra empties, might as well use them.
Yeah, as far as I know, I don't, but
I mean, if you want to have an empty one, that's fine. It's up to you.
no, I'll just keep some of the old water in there we had. Like he said, it's probably a good idea. We don't know what the water ahead's like either.
Yeah, I hate to use all our canteens.
Yeah, the tank might stretch kind of far.
Okay, so does everybody pretend like they're filling canteens?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pretend.
You're like, wonderful water.
Okay. Yeah, and the mayor's just still kind of just watching and seems to be relaxed a little bit when it looks like you're actually just getting water.
I turn to the mayor and say, "So good, sir. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name." And I extend my hand.
He kind of approaches and tentatively, takes it and shakes and, Riley.
So Riley, my name is John.
Nice to meet you, John.
So you guys have a place for us to stay tonight? I'm assuming we have money, right?
Yeah.
We have money.
I can ask around. I'm sure the thought of getting a few coin will make some people more than willing to share their space, or if you don't mind, potentially even just an open farm or barn. We don't have a whole lot of spare rooms here.
We've slept in worse. And if anybody needs you know, some muscle or some help, I'm sure that we could likely oblige.
Okay. Well, think about it. You said you were going to the Mages College, right? Right.
Correct.
We've, as I've said, we've had some trouble with the season. Our crops just they aren't growing like they should be. None of you would happen to be able to have any sort of magic you could do on our fields or anything to help us out. I'm sure you'd get much better accommodations for the night if you could.
I think my colleagues and I could at least take a look and see what we can do.
It'd be much appreciated. I'm sure if you could do anything to help out, wouldn't need any coin or anything either. It just room for help.
Okay. Let me talk to my friends here, and I will let you know.
Thank you. And he kind of turns and points to one of the farmhouses a little bit further off. And that's my place over there. If make a decision, you can just, let me know. And he kind of, it's nice meeting you all. He kind of turns and heads towards his house.
Is there a saloon anywhere?
Yeah, there's a little tavern, cafe type place, but it's very, very tiny. They don't get a whole lot of travelers through here, like they said. But there is some place you can kind of relax kick your feet up, proverbially speaking.
Okay, friends. And I'm addressing the group. Shall we retire to the tavern and see what local fare they have?
Yes, just be careful. A lot of these places, the beer is more water than anything else.
Speaking of, if we cannot trust their own water, should we necessarily trust whatever the tavern may provide?
Maybe we're fasting.
Surely it'll be a nice place for us to sit down and rest our feet and converse.
Yes.
Okay, so if you'll decide to head to the tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt there's many other places you can go as strangers in a town that...
And it would probably look weird if we went somewhere, off in the distance and started talking.
Right. All right. So yeah, y'all head over to it, and there's no doors on it. You just kind of walk through in the opening, and there's only 3 tables in there, and it's a very old wooden building. There's a little bar set up. Nobody's at it though, and behind it there's a few different labels of different types of alcohol. Very old bottles, probably haven't been replenished in a while. And there's a little note basically on the countertop listing the price for how much each one costs per glass, and like an honesty type of thing. You pay what you take, pay for what you take, basically self-serve.
Okay. Do they look like they've been, like they've been purchased, or are they like nondescript bottles with no labels?
It's kind of a mix, but all of them are sealed, or they have they're corked and lidded and whatnot. But the bottles themselves are pretty much all very dust covered. There's only a couple that look like they've been used anytime recently. And those happen to be ones that look like they're just very nondescript. The ones that are actually labeled, that look like they were purchased elsewhere, are nearly full and look untouched in a while based on the dust layers on them. And if you look at the list, those are also the highest priced ones as well.
Okay. I'll take the dirtiest looking bottle they got and pay for it.
Okay. Yeah, there's a little box on the back side of the counter that you leave the money in for. You take the bottle and some glasses for. Do you take glasses also, or just the bottle? I mean, the glasses just go back. I mean, you don't pay for those or anything, but
Well, they were washed with something, or not washed.
yeah, the glasses are clean.
You say that.
Well, I mean, they're clean as in like there's clearly no dirt or dust on them. Like they've been washed.
Yeah, it might be safer just to pass the bottle around.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. So yeah, you'll take up one of the tables and you have the bottle there.
Can you tell if the bottle's tainted?
Yeah, does the bottle have that sheen from the water?
Not that you can see or anything, no. And you know that based on when the lights went on the spire, I mean, it would have most likely it wasn't all that long ago, and so the bottle is a lot older than when that happened.
Okay. So I sit down with the bottle and uncork it, take a swig.
As you uncork it, it's just a very strong alcoholic aroma, and you take a swig, and it's very, very strong stuff. Burns as it goes down, but otherwise there's just very strong alcohol. It's not tainted or anything as far as you can tell.
I say, delicious, and then I pass it to Respec.
And she'll try to knock it back. Oh, it's better than consuming taint. And she'll pass it off to Syphon.
She takes the swig. She tries to be cool.
So yeah, so Syphon takes a swig and manages to keep her composure like it's nothing, like drinking water.
I suggest we save the rest for medicinal purposes. Oh wait, Polymer has to take it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, anyone passing it over here?
I'll pass it over there.
Are you old enough?
Parts of me.
I had to push to talk so you'd hear me laugh at that one. That was pretty good.
Yeah, so you take a swig of it, Polymer.
Yeah, sorry, wife was like, wait, what do you mean parts of you? So I was telling her real quick what's happening. Anyway, yeah, I guess I'll take a small drink and just sort of pass it back with a just,
Yeah, that affects you differently on different parts of your tongue than normal, just because even your tongue is actually from a couple different sources.
Nice. I was sort of wondering about that. I'm also kind of assuming I run mostly on magic, so my physical needs are probably lower than most people.
Yeah.
At least that was my guess.
Okay, so let's get down to business here. Is there anybody else in the tavern?
No. It's a small little, almost one room. Like there's a little back room off to the side that's open up. You can kind of see in, and that's where it looks like they would do the dishes for the clean the glasses and stuff. But otherwise, it's a obviously empty little building.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we don't have to be like super duper secretive if we're just talking about fixing the crop situation. And I also don't see why, at least as far as the mayor is concerned, we should keep the fact that the water is tainted from them. We don't have to tell them how we know. We could just tell them that, magically we know. But, yeah.
Maybe we should make a show at investigating first. Because just walking into town and declaring the water tainted.
Yeah, we could take one of the glasses from the tavern and I could empty what's not empty it, but pour some of the water into the glass and say this water's bad. This water's killing your town.
How do we demonstrate that and how do we fix it? Because those are going to be the questions they ask.
Well, if it's just him, and he's trustworthy, he may be able to keep it. I mean, if he's not involved in whatever conspiracy, is going on in this town, if he's not involved, then he would probably. I don't see why he would say his crops, there's something wrong with the crops if he was involved with what was wrong with the crops.
Fair enough. I just worry that he's going to want us to fix it immediately, and if we don't have that ready in front of him, he might. We're easy scapegoats.
I don't know. I don't think it would be. There's a history of death in the town. He already believes that we are, or at least, believes enough that we're capable mages or mages in training that we could help with the field. He already knows enough of that, and he's already told us that I think he may be more inclined to trust, what we have to say.
I don't disagree with you. He's a politician.
True. Well, and we have to keep up some sort of airs because we can't just go in there and be like, hey, look, we're trying to go fix the spire.
I got a question. So something fell out of the sky, hit the spire. We think part of that something's in this well. Have we ran into whatever this is in other places, or is this really the first time we've gotten this close to something like that?
Yeah, it's the first time.
Actually, I just realized my character wouldn't actually know that because that's information that was obtained from ghosts, so never mind.
But even for them, though, it's the first time you've come across like this type of corruption as you get closer to the spire.
Did Syphon tell the team that this was something connected with what happened to the spire?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I realized I was metagaming after I asked.
That's okay. I'm just wondering if we know we're all going to the spire. Are we all going to the spire because of the event that happened to it?
Out of character, no.
Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't mean like, is that the reason we're going? I meant, did we know that was why we're going to the spire? So we know we're all going to the spire, but we don't. I mean, we don't know each other.
We have different reasons for going.
And those reasons are secret.
Right,
Yeah, less people want to share, but just knowing you all 2 days, I don't know if my character would actually trust anybody to just be like, yeah, here's where I'm going.
Yeah, I would assume Syphon and I were probably instructed to not.
Yeah, not typically. You wouldn't give away society agendas and whatnot.
I'm probably trying to tell just as few people about me as possible in general, so.
Well, so we could keep it as, well, I'll just say in character, there's a taint that's been spreading across, that's been popping up in places around the land, and I believe that this is that same kind of taint.
So the taint's not limited to here.
Correct.
Does that mean we just lost some water and going to have trouble getting it back?
Yeah, we don't want to drink this one. And hopefully we can find some good water or ration our water. But yeah. Or maybe there's a way if we can magically fix the if we can take care of the taint, maybe that'll fix the water.
Yeah, flush the well out or something?
Maybe.
They said it's been raining.
You said there was something. You said so when I did my assess the situation. You said it was in the field.
Like under the fields, like ultimately from what you've now know, like the water that's seeping under the earth is tainting the land around it.
Okay. Yeah, so it's definitely the source is definitely the water that's in this area, not just in the well. The groundwater is tainted.
Okay, how do we clean the water?
I have no idea. But I think if we can find the source, we can decide whether or not the problem can be fixed, or if we need to tell the town that they have to move on.
They're not going to be happy about that.
Or we could just tell them we fixed it and then move on ourselves.
I don't know if I want to do that.
I do want to point out again, your characters do have the same morality that you had as the hero characters, even if the personalities are radically different.
I can't lie to them about that.
I have to confess that even I would be reluctant to do that.
Okay. I mean, if we do move on, we should be honest and say we can't fix it.
I agree.
They deserve that much.
Okay, so do you know what's causing the taint?
I think Syphon may have an idea. But
I mean, I just know that it's glowing and that there might be something at the bottom, and if we can maybe remove that, it might fix it.
So we need to convince them to let us down in their well.
Yes.
okay,
That should be easy.
so you said there's a shimmer in the water.
Yeah, when it's still after you've like collected it in the bucket and whatnot, you notice like a very faint grease-like shimmering to the surface that shouldn't be there for clean water. But it's so faint, if you're not specifically looking for it, it's easy to see how the town might have missed it.
Okay, so we've got clean water. All right, so I suggest we take 2 glasses over to the farm, over to the mayor's house, pour tainted water, and then pour clean water next to it. Show him the difference, and then tell him the water is tainted, and that's the source of the poison, of what's poisoning the crops, and we believe it's also poisoning townspeople.
And that he needs to let us into the well. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
All right, it's a plan. It's a good plan.
Yeah.
All right, so you grab a couple of the glasses and you exit the tavern, and you see some people kind of still watching from like across the street and stuff, just still more interested in these group of strangers than anything else that's going on here. As y'all make your way to the farmhouse, and he's actually sitting on his porch, just kind of watching his empty field. He sees you approach, and he kind of waves.
Greetings, good sir, Riley.
Hello again.
May we come inside your residence and have a chat?
Yeah, sure. He stands up and walks to the door and opens it and holds it open for y'all to enter. Yeah. As y'all go inside, it's a small little house. Only has seats for 3 people. He offers them to you all to figure out how you want to sit, if you want to sit at all, and he kind of just stands off to the side. So didn't learn something already, did you?
We think we may have an idea. You might want to sit down.
No, I'm okay. You can sit. You're guests here.
I offer him a swig from the bottle that we bought. And I say, here are some spirits that I purchased from your tavern, if you would like to share.
His eyes just kind of like light up a little bit, and then he grins and takes the bottle. And oh, I'm sure Abigail's gonna appreciate that business. Takes a quick swig and miss that, and hands it back. Thank you.
I take another swig.
Yeah, it's still just as strong.
I say, now that we've had a drink amongst friends, I would like to show you what I think the source of the problem is. And I set down 2 glasses. I take out my canteen with the tainted water. I say, Matthew, and I reach my hand back over. Wait, no, sorry. Jennifer. I'm forgetting my genders here. Jennifer, will you please hand me your canteen? And I reach my hand back to Respec.
Yeah, she'll come over and hand her master her canteen.
And I open the canteen and I say, my good man, watch this water as I pour it. And I pour, I fill up the glass with the good water. And I say, this is water that we've filled from a previous location. And that we have been drinking from the whole time we've been traveling. And then I pull out my canteen and I say, now, I want you to notice the difference between the 2 water. The water that's in the water that's from 2 different sources in these different glasses, and I pour the tainted water into the other glass. And I say, do you notice a difference?
And he looks at him standing up, and he kind of crouches down next to the glasses and looks from one to the other and back and forth, and it seems like he doesn't really see anything. And then this goes on for a few more seconds, and then he kind of looks back over at the tainted one and like really kind of squints at it, and you just see his eyes kind of go like wide a little bit. Well, I'll be. I do. What is that?
I'm not exactly sure, but I know this is water from your well. Have you been having any issues with people dying or getting sick that started suddenly?
Yeah, we have. We've buried more than I'd like to admit here. Started not too long ago. A lot more than normal. Strange sickness too comes on pretty quick once somebody gets it.
We believe the source of your trouble may be the water that's in the ground here in this location.
I don't know how we can fix that. How do you fix water in the ground?
Well, we would have to look. We think that there may be something in the well, but I think that we may be able to locate the source using our magic. I'm not certain that we can make it go away. I'm not certain that if I remove the source, if it will suddenly make everything clean, or if there will be an amount of time in which the taint will have to wash away and be replenished with new water. But we could try.
Well, I mean, if you think you can help in any way, whether it's outright fixing it or just removing the source, appreciate it. I mean, we can't survive if the water's no good. Yeah, you do what you need to do, and if I can help in any way, I will.
Well, first off, I think we may need to get down inside the well.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that if it takes care of the problem.
Excellent. Like I said, we're definitely here to help, and we want to fix this problem. And I'm hoping that we can, because we definitely don't want your townspeople to be sick and dying. And we believe that this will also, if we can clean up the source, that this will also help your crops, help restore your crop yield to what it once was.
And by all means, do whatever you have to. Just I'd appreciate it if you kind of kept this to yourselves for now.
We will the best we can. It would probably be kind of weird seeing people going down inside your well.
No, I understand. I'll take care of that. But yeah, I can't have people panicking on me or anything.
I understand.
Thank you, and I'll take care of the well. You'll have the privacy you need.
Do you mind if we use your residence to converse and come up with a plan?
No, that's fine. I'm gonna go take care of things real quick. Y'all do what you have to do. Thank you again. He just he walks out, leaving you alone in his house.
Okay, so hopefully he's actually going to help us and not going to alert anybody who is, ill will toward us. Yeah. So how do you guys want to handle this?
Well, we should check on Nancy and Mark before we go down.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Going to need torches.
I have a question about one of my moves.
Okay.
Like how flexible I can be with it. Let me see what the name. For dark designs. It says I can shift a limb into a weapon, but like how much flexibility is there with that?
Like, what are you wanting to do? What's your idea?
Like to make one of my arms like a super long like crane kind of a thing.
Yeah, I can work with that.
Okay.
So as far as my main power, I'm assuming I'm still like the Halcyon, Mr. Body.
Yeah, you still have the Biokinesis stuff.
Okay.
It's just instead of being like a mutant power type of thing. It's based on the calculations you instantaneously perform and to alter the life web itself directly.
Gotcha. So I might be able to breathe or to hold my breath underwater or breathe underwater.
Right. If the dice allow it.
Okay, so are we all now just like going back first, or discussing how we're gonna do this first?
We need to check on Nancia and Mark. And I guess we need to come up with names for each other. So Respec was I said Jennifer. I'm John.
It's nice to meet you, John.
So I guess anybody else who I haven't forced a name on, if they want to go by a different name, I guess. Go ahead.
I imagine I'm probably not the most imaginative person, so whatever name you want to toss on me, I guess.
I mean, John and Jennifer isn't very special either.
Well, no, I meant more like you asked me to come up with a name. I am Polymer. That is my name.
Jacob. Or no, you're a girl. What am I thinking?
Yeah, I'm the only guy in the I keep forgetting.
Yeah. John, Jennifer, Jill, and Josephine.
James.
Excellent.
Got the J crew in the house.
Yeah, that's not suspicious at all.
Shit, wait, isn't that like a store, J. Crew?
I don't know if it's a store, but it is a brand.
Okay, I knew I had seen it like on a sign recently.
We're the Duggards.
John, Jacob, Jingleheimer Smith.
I thought of that one too.
How about that?
So, yeah, I think y'all were still just discussing the plan of exactly what y'all were going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got to figure out how to get down into the well.
Actually, first, is this stuff flammable? This oily, shimmery stuff.
I don't know.
Does anybody have a match?
Because I was sitting here thinking we need to take torches so we can see, but
Well, if anyone has a match or a flint and steel, we could just try it right here.
Yeah, if somebody wants to say it's in one of their bags, that's fine.
Yeah, sure, I probably have a few.
yeah. According to my picture, I have a flaming sword.
Oh, then there we go, win and down.
It's a psychic sword.
Oh, okay. It's not flaming. Never mind. Yeah, I would imagine somebody had some flint and steel or tinder or something.
Yeah, like basic stuff like that. Just it can be in your bag if it's nothing, crazy outrageous.
Okay, yeah, if nobody else is, I'm the one that asked, so I'll pull out a little tinder box and try to get a little fire going, and then I'll try to carry like a burning stick or something to a bowl of the water. Kind of wave it across the surface a little bit.
Yeah, we should probably do this outside, by the way.
Too late.
Probably.
But no, it does not react to it. And if you put it in there, it just puts out the match or the fire.
Okay, torches should be okay.
We also have the glowstones that you could use for light too.
Oh, I don't know why I forget about glowstones.
They generate some heat, but otherwise they're a light source. So they're not like an open flame or anything. So even if it was flammable, it wouldn't ignite it.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about suffocating.
I may be able to reach into the well to the bottom, so we don't have to go in. I told them that.
Oh,
What was that?
that would be useful.
That I might be able to reach to the bottom so that we don't actually have to go into the well and get covered in this nasty water.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, because I'm sure bathing in it's healthy.
Yeah, but we might want a backup plan in case I can't do it.
Well, I can also breathe underwater, and I may be able to protect myself from the effects of the water.
Before anybody goes down there, I'd like a chance to just kind of reach out psychically. I mean, when we're getting ready to do it, since we're planning, to see if there's any minds down there to connect with.
Good idea. And check on Mark and Nancia.
Okay. They're not part of the J Crew official.
Oh, yeah, I guess not.
I'll reach out for Nancia and Mark.
Yeah, go ahead and roll Unleash.
Okay. Nope. Could I get a potential though?
Yeah, whether it's just so many the distance between you or something else, you can't reach out and feel them.
Okay. The taint might be seeping into the air a little bit. We can't reach them from here.
Can I at least check and see if their life force is compromised?
Yeah, go ahead and roll Unleash also. Alright, so yeah, as you kind of like close your eyes and just reach out across the life web and going through the town, you can see the people who have the taint, or you can kind of see it within their energetic body form that you see in this vision. And as you go out, traveling through it, you find where Nance and Mark are hiding, and they're fine as far as the energy tells you. There's no trace of taint on them or anything.
I tell the team that as far as I can tell, Nancia and Mark they're at least living and not hurt.
Good. Good.
Good, let's focus on getting this done as fast as we can.
Alright, so what do y'all do?
Guess we head out towards the well and start probing.
Alright, so as y'all head to the well, you get closer to it, and you see what looks like kind of a makeshift barricades up around an area around it. Effectively, basically like plywood type thin little boards propped up, creating a visual shield from around it for whatever you have to do. You see like the mayor and a couple of the other farmers kind of standing perimeter guard around it. Mayor just kind of nods at you all as you approach.
I tell the mayor we are here to hopefully clean as well.
And he nods again. Thank you. And kind of shifts part of the barricade aside for y'all to all go through.
So yeah, do your thing. Respect.
Okay, yeah, I'll reach out with my mind and probe the recesses and inspect the tank for mind stuff. Do you want psychic release or unleash your powers or what? Assess?
It's not that. Let's go with unleash first.
Okay. Nope.
You couldn't inspect the tank.
No.
Yeah,
I
whether
failed at probing the recesses and inspecting the tank.
whether it's because there's nothing sentient down there, or just the same thing that was keeping you from detecting Nance and Mark, you don't pick up anything.
Well, we do have.
Alright. I don't think there's any sentient minds down there.
I guess I'll attempt to see if there's anything living.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll unleash on that one also. There's not, but there's like a actual like void in the life web. Like it's not just not alive. It's more like it's actively anti-life.
There is something down there that is definitely not living, but it's more the opposite of living.
But not quite death either.
Would Syphon be able to?
Maybe if she wants to roll,
If I want to what?
if you wanted to roll unleash to try to sense whether it's the thing down there.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, as you kind of extend your senses down into the well, you can detect something that's definitely not life, but it's also not death. It's this strange other that you've never actually sensed before, but it does feel closer to death than it does to life. But again, it's not quite either. And it's also not the normal sense you get from undead magics or anything like that. It's something completely new.
Maybe we need to have a bag to put it in, so we don't touch it.
Yeah, given the size of the void space that you all sense, if one of the backpacks that you're carrying were emptied, you could fit it inside.
Okay. I'll empty out my backpack.
Yeah, everything just kind of clutters to the ground where you poured it, and you have an empty bag.
And so I hand that to Syphon.
Can I roll dark designs now?
You can. Okay, so you get a hold of 3, so you can spend on whichever of those options you want.
I have to use all 3 of them right now.
No, you can use one and just hold on to the other 2.
Okay, so then I'll try to shift my arm into the log cranny thing.
Okay, so as you start focusing on your intent to alter your limb, the like little strips to a casual onlooker, they almost look like runes, but they're actually like mathematical symbols and equations that line your armor start glowing a pale blue as they spiral down your arm, and it starts spreading out the glow as the entire arm starts to shift and elongate. And as it does, you hear, and everybody around you hears, your bones cracking and popping as it reforms your limb, but it doesn't cause you any pain. You're very used to it as it distends and morphs into this strange, incredibly long limb that has almost like a snapping function where the elbow should be, allowing for greater range of bending than normal. At the end is this spiked, claw-like, almost scoop that could easily be used to wrap around somebody's head and just crush it, or potentially grab onto whatever it is you're looking for at the bottom of this well. And despite the great length of this limb, you're able to hold it up and move it as though it were your regular limb.
Cool. So, you gave me a bag, right, Mr. Buddy?
I sure did.
So I just kind of like, I don't know, should I put it around my claw or should I put it on the ground and put the thing next to it?
I would try not to touch it. If,
Not to touch it.
if you can.
Okay, so I like put it around my claw like a glove, sort of.
Okay.
And then reach down into the well.
It's like picking up a turd with a
Yeah.
inside-out bag.
Okay, go ahead and roll directly engage, but get a +2, a +1 because of the dark designs, and then another +1 from acting on information from the ghosts of the past. Okay, so with the +2, that would be an 8. So you're able to work your arm down into the well, keeping the bag in place as you kind of reach the bottom, feeling around. You feel an object that is the only other thing down there that's of any notable size, and it, even through the bag, it feels cold, but it doesn't seem to react initially as you wrap the bag around it and take hold of it.
So then I lift it up out of the well.
Okay, as you start pulling it up, resistance actually starts to build up, and it gets harder and harder the closer you get to the surface to pull it up. Go ahead and roll directly engage again. Keep the +2. Alright, so despite the resistance, you are able to pull it all the way out with the bag wrapped around it as your arm comes free of the well.
Got it.
Good. Let's get it away from here. We should probably check to see if there's still anything else down there before we tell the mayor.
Yeah, I'll try to reach out and see if I can detect anything.
Okay, go ahead and roll Unleash again. You pick up like remnants that feel almost like they might be echoes more than anything actually of substance.
Okay, so like maybe the water's still poisoned because it was in there, but there's not necessarily a source.
Right.
Okay. So I say it feels like we got it out, but the water's still poisoned residually.
So it might take time or some extra work. Trying to think how much my character would actually know about cleaning water. I don't think she'd actually know much.
I mean, you would know basic, like boiling water type stuff, but not anything beyond normal everyday life type of situations.
You know, we could try boiling some of the water, see if it actually cleans it up.
Yeah, we didn't try that. It could be volatile. Yeah, but not volatile, not so volatile that it ignites, but volatile that it evaporates at a higher temperature.
Yeah, let's boil some water, see what the results are, and then we can tell the mayor, yes, we removed the main contaminant, but you'll need to boil the water for a while.
Well, we should probably also figure out what to do with the object.
For now, I imagine they just want us, if we can't destroy it, I imagine they'd want us to take it with us.
True.
I don't think they're going to want us to leave it here.
No. All right, so I will approach the mayor and tell him that we removed an object from the well that we believe this object is what the source of the taint is, but it seems like the water is still tainted. But we are going to investigate some possible ways of maybe mitigating things until the water is completely flushed out naturally. Unfortunately, this may mean that you won't have good crops for a while. But we're trying to figure out what we can do.
Yeah, maybe they'll be able to mix it with wine or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, as you walk out of the barricade and the rest of them are still in there, he listens to you and he nods. And, thank you. I understand that. Thank you. Hopefully you can find a way to fix this without, or quickly, fix the remaining water so that we are able to at least drink. The crops we can live through. We've had bad seasons before, not necessarily this bad, but we obviously have to have water.
So, does anybody have an extra bag that I can put my stuff in?
You'd be able to fit it in like amongst the 3 other bags if they offer space.
Yeah, I'll offer space.
Okay. I guess we'll start picking up my stuff, but dividing it into the bags to deliver. Let's offer space.
It's a bit of a dick move, but can I be a little nosy to see what sort of stuff he carries on him?
Roll to assess.
Okay. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm kind of curious what he thinks is necessary to take around with him all the time.
Yeah, it would be impossible to not do that, I think.
Well, it's a matter of like if you have anything extra personal that would have noticed beyond like the basics. So it's up to you though what he sees though. If there's anything unusual or.
Yeah, there doesn't have to be anything unusual. It'd just be my character's curiosity going, oh, well, all this is out in the open.
Right, and with the 10, he's paying close attention to it.
Hi, Kyle.
Hello?
Sorry about that.
I just wasn't sure who was talking where.
That was Julie.
Ah,
Hi, Julie.
so is there anything unusual or weird that Respec happened to see that you maybe have tried to quickly get put up or anything?
Hold on, I'm looking through my thing.
Yeah, it's unlikely. She's just being nosy, but
Would they know that we are part of the Ouroboros Society?
Not likely.
So maybe I have like a seal or a badge or something that I'm like, oh shit, and I grab it and like put it in a pocket or something.
Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, Respec, you do see this, like, little amulet-looking object that the glimpse you get of it looks like almost like a snake eating its own tail type of thing, but it appears mechanical in nature.
okay.
And being mechanical looking in nature, you can pretty much deduce that from Triforia, but the actual sigil, you don't know what it means.
All right. So that's something to keep in the back of my head. And I imagine people might get peeks in my pack as I open it up to cram some of his stuff in there.
Well, I'm not nosy, so I'm not looking because I'm a good person.
You are a good person. That was going to leave a child behind.
I think I just don't give a shit.
He said good person, not great person.
Yeah, okay, so we spread his stuff between us.
Okay, and so yeah, you get everything put away, and the object is in his bag, wrapped tightly around it.
Okay, so I guess we should. So we've got some water in my canteen still. We can try heating that up. I'm also wondering if we can't fix the crop situation immediately. I mean, fix the water situation so that they can, if the water situation doesn't fix itself so that they can use their crops.
Well, he said it's been raining. Can't they put out barrels or something to catch the fresh rainwater?
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, they might have to pick a new location to grow their crops. Only, I mean, I don't know. I wonder if there's like some sort of environmental engineering that could be employed.
And who, what, would it?
I know.
What is this engineer?
I don't know. That's why you're the boss.
I have well learned, so I think he would kind of.
Yeah.
Not before, maybe.
Oh yeah, I mean it's totally in line with your character, with their backstory, where they're from, and everything that they would know
Yeah,
like that.
Just my character wouldn't be able to have no idea what you're talking about.
So I explained to his character that it's a way of using the land itself and the things that live in the ground to clean out the ground itself. So if there's something that can eat the taint, use it as food, then that will clean it up. But seeing as how it kills things, that's
Like a worm or something? Would worms eat the taint?
maybe. I don't know. I'll have to consult. I'll have to look through. I don't know. Would I have any like? I guess I might have some books, but maybe not a whole bunch. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't imagine you have a whole lot with you, but I mean, if worst case scenario, when you get back to the society, somebody there their library, or the connections through there, you could find somebody if you can't get anything done now.
Yeah, I imagine if this is something that's commonplace across the land, there may be a wider range of cleanup that's required. So they'd probably want to help out with that, unless they don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, they can just say it. You can learn something from it, and so they would help, if nothing else, for the educational experience of doing something, cleaning something that's never been done before.
Okay.
I'll follow you, Druid.
Okay. So I guess we need to figure out if we can boil the water to make it safe, and then also we should probably really, if we can, look at this thing and study it. I guess when I get a chance, I'd like to talk to Syphon quietly.
Okay, where are y'all gonna head
I'll get
to?
some wine.
What's that?
I'll get the wine.
No.
I was gonna say, where do y'all want to go to do all this and try to boil the water and all that? Back to the mayor's house, or?
Does he have a barn?
Yes.
Maybe it would be better to use his barn so that we're not like getting nasty stuff in his house.
Okay.
Yeah, it does seem to offer some privacy.
Well, and just in the interest of transparency, that way, like, I guess, I'm sure he trusts us, but that way he knows we're not doing anything shady. He can look in and be like, oh, okay, that's the problem.
Yeah, so I'll talk to the mayor and say, well, we need to study the object and see if there's anything we can learn from it, which might help us in figuring out either how to dispose of it or also what we can do to clean up the water and help the general situation. But we need a place to do this. We also want to try boiling the water and see if that does anything. We would like to use your barn if that's possible. And if you want to join us, that's fine. That's not a problem.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take you there now. And as the panel, like blocking y'all in, kind of opens all the way in, and he looks in to see everybody. His eyes kind of go wide as he looks at Syphon and sees her arm all super elongated and distended still. Is she okay?
She's fine. It's just one of our mage. It's one of her mage abilities. She used it to get the item out of the well.
That's impressive, ma'am.
Thanks.
Yeah, let's this way. And he turns and kind of glances back a couple times as he walks and leads y'all to the barn. He goes over and brings out like a little, like the camping dishes or camping torch type of things that you cook food on for you to use.
Excellent. I guess we need a pot or something.
Oh, yeah. And he goes and he grabs one of those as well.
So I'm gonna pour the water into the pot, heat it until it boils.
Okay. Yeah, it starts to heat up. Much quicker than water normally takes to boil. It starts bubbling faster and hotter, and at about half the time that you would have expected, it just almost like erupts as the water just completely turns to steam and rises up in like one big burst, and left behind in the pot is like kind of the shimmer of it, of whatever the taint was, and without the water present, you see it starting to kind of crystallize and crumble.
So there's no water left.
There's no water left.
Huh, it's hard to believe we're the first ones to boil water in this town. You'd think they would notice that.
Yeah. I asked the mayor, do you have a distillery?
Not really, no. Anything local we have is just fermentation and soaking it in water.
I think that if you can, the problem here is that the water, it seems like the water evaporates, leaving behind whatever the substance is, changes the volatility of the water, making it completely evaporate. But if we have a way of catching the steam that comes from the water, the steam and cooling it, the steam will turn back into water. And if the vessel is separate from the vessel that's heated, it will be clean water.
Yeah, I think I understand the point of what you're saying.
So if you know anyone that makes their own spirits, they may be able to put together a type of the type of apparatus that you would need for this.
Well, I can see. I'll ask around. Not sure of anybody doing anything like that, but I'll see what I can find for you. And
Excellent.
he kind of heads off.
All right. So I'm gonna say, hey, Syphon, can I talk to you for a minute? And I look at the other two and I say, alone?
Oh. 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 I. Come on. Gonna grab God, why my brain just.
Polymer.
Yeah. Sorry, my brain just kind of blanked out there. Go and grab Polymer. Let's give them some time alone. They haven't had much since we've been on the road.
Okay, fair enough.
Alright, so Polymer and Respec kind of head off, leaving Mr. Body and Syphon alone in the barn.
So we need to look at this thing and see if we can. So we're sent to check out what happened to the spire, and if this is related to what happened to the spire, if this is a fragment that came out of the sky that also damaged the spire, or whatever it's doing to the spire, we should probably see between the two of us if we can tell what this thing is.
Yeah. Can we like assess the situation or anything?
Yes. Yeah, it's just it's very so foreign and new, and just the energy, it kind of puts off that sense of other that's neither life nor death, is just kind of throwing you off your game right now. You can't really glean any new information. Okay.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, go ahead and ask one. And you can kind of like none of those really fit perfectly, so you can kind of alter it as long as it's in the same vein.
So I know it is the biggest threat. So is there a way to get to glean maybe the mechanism of its threat?
Okay, so as you're looking at it, based on what you already know, what you've currently felt and everything, and the weird energy it's kind of putting off, you start to notice little tendrils kind of energy seeping out of the bag into, like, through the life web, creating a little bit more of the void. And you realize it's the same kind of sensation that you felt underneath the earth, like it slowly just kind of creates a root system of this strange anti-life. And so it works on like an energetic level.
Can I try to use could I like unleash my powers to try to reverse what it's doing? Using my Mathmagician powers, maybe reverse it out of anything living that it's affecting.
You can try. Given how foreign it is and everything else, I'm gonna say you need a full hit, and you're doing it with a -1.
Okie doke. Negarino.
Yeah, it's just as you reach out, and it's just so alien. You're not really sure how to handle it. You kind of try to reinforce the life web around the areas it's trying to like root into, but at best it like very minutely slowed it down, but not enough to stop it or anything. And it's not moving at such a speed that it's an immediate threat to anybody around it, but left alone to its own devices, it's going to continue to expand.
So it could potentially hurt us.
It could potentially, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I say to Syphon, I suggest we be careful with this thing because it could hurt us because it's still spreading right now through the bag. But we also have a chance. We also have it, and we have a chance to study it before we get to the spire. If this is, as we suspect, related to what's affecting the spire, then it might be good to study this and try to figure out what it's doing and how we can stop it. Or we could return. Is there any way for us to communicate with the OS?
Yeah, it might take a little bit of time, but in Lucy's or Syphon's bag, there is a little mechanical messenger pigeon that every team carries out in the field.
So yeah, I suggest we send them a message that we believe we found a fragment of what is affecting the spire before we've gotten to the spire.
Okay, so I pull it out and do that.
Okay. Say you wind it up, write your little message on it, and the society glyphs, and it kind of clicks a little bit and flies off.
No. I wanted to see if we could send like one of the crystals with it.
Oh, okay. No, I mean if you want to, that's fine. You can like the dried crystal.
Yeah, from the water.
Okay, yeah. You put a little bit in a little pouch that you find and kind of attach it, and it flies off.
Yeah, and with a warning of, the information on where that crystal came from, and that it's potentially dangerous.
Okay. Outside the barn, Respec and Polymer, you see this odd-looking bird come flying out. Little, not too big, but is definitely not a natural-looking bird as it kind of flies off.
Is that what happens when druids and she's trying to think of a polite way to say this.
I just silently shrug.
Does that mean they're done? That was awfully quick. I thought it would take longer.
And is that
Maybe we should go check.
Maybe we should just give them a few more minutes. Get themselves collected.
I'm sure they'll come out when they're done, or let us know.
Yeah.
So I grab a rock, and for no reason at all, my character walks outside, throws it at Respec's head.
And she's not even attempting to dodge because she's not expecting it.
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. Do y'all let the others know that the conversation's done, or what do y'all do?
Yeah, we'll go. I'll walk outside, fully clothed, and tell them that we're done. We're done conversing.
Oh, okay. That didn't take long.
And as you head back into the barn, the sound of like metal on metal clanging starts filling the air as you hear some people starting to shout like a warning about an approaching threat. And we'll go ahead